Ladies and gents, good evening. Welcome back to Talk Scottish Football Live, Wednesday the 12th of May, and as usual, there's lots happening. I have got Ryan McGinley and Adam Kennedy with me. Ryan is, again, as all the Celtic fans are on this channel, excited about watching Celtic tonight.
Oh, great. Another one. One more, two more to go, so nearly done with this absolute shit show.
But this is the same sort of shit that Adam's been spouting for the last month and a half. But even though Hearts were flying towards the end of the season, no pleasing you, Kennedy.
Oh, listen, mate. There was pleasing me at the weekend because Hearts couldn't ruin my weekend. So yeah, I'm just content watching all the drama unfurl in front of me. That's pleasing.
Yes, and there's certainly going to be some on the park drama tonight to go with the kind of off the park drama of the last hour and a half of Celtic. But we'll come to that. Just going to have a quick look at the chat already here. A lot of people, someone wanting to let Ryan rant about the board. It'll be funny. Well, Ryan 118 has done a rant about that on his channel. Go and watch that. It is a good watch. Yeah, lots of stuff about the Celtic board, which is very interesting. It's typical. I mean, Celtic had to go on a night that threatened to be a really good night of football. Down the bottom, Premiership. It's going to be really entertaining, and Celtic have stolen the headlines as per usual. It's not very good. But you know what? Since everyone's talking about the comments, I was going to start with the games, but you know what? We'll start with this today, Mr. Ryan McGinley. So I'm just going to let you take this away. Give people the backstory, what's happened today, and then your thoughts on it.
So fans were invited by the club to go and put up tributes for Scott Brown since it's his last game at Celtic Park tonight. And the Green Brigade done that. Loads of fans done it, but the Green Brigade done that, but they also done a solidarity sort of tribute to Palestine as well. And then, I don't know if it was last night or today, but today they released a statement saying that that Celtic had taken all the Palestine flags down, but they didn't. They put that on their website quite shadily without announcing it on Facebook or Twitter. So they obviously knew the way that fans were going to take this. So it's all kind of just blown up the past hour or so.
Yeah.
It's just tone deaf rather than anything else.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Obviously, it's a hot topic in. It's not even a Scottish football topic; it's a world topic just now. I don't want to delve into that because it's not really kind of like it's a whole can of worms I don't want to open. But what it does signify, Adam, is certainly from a neutral point of view for us too. This discontent between the Celtic board and the Celtic fans, they are just on completely different wavelengths.
Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody, I think it was you, Ryan, even, that tweeted out sort of the poll with regards to is there a bigger rebuild or sort of the discontent between trying to repair the discontent between the board and fans. So Celtic are just, it's crazy, man. They're actually a shambles considering what's going on.
At all.
No, they're really not. I mean, what's your stance? Do you think it's a bigger kind of rebuild with that relationship, or is it solely on the park that you're fussed about?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. The two go hand in hand, because if you rebuild the team, then the fans get back on side with the board. But it's very fractured at the moment. It's been fractured for a couple of years, but the results have kind of sort of halted.
Ran out.
Protests. Yeah. I think because the season's been so bad, it's just hit fever pitch really, and fans just aren't happy at all.
Yeah, it's mad, and it's been coming all season long. We saw it with everything they've done off the park it's gone. We mentioned a lot when talking about Neil Lennon and standards on the pitch, but it's been a thing throughout the club. It's been evident for so long, and yeah, that's why I think that everyone's going about when Eddie Howe's going to be announced, fine, but there's a lot more to do at Celtic than just getting a team winning. There are a lot more things that need to get done. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll cover that a lot more on podcast, and Celtic Thunder will cover it. But we'll move on to the games tonight. We'll start with the Rangers game because that's on at 6:00, and the team news is out for that already. And it's some interesting team news from Livingston tonight. Rangers have only got 6 subs tonight. Obviously, a few injuries, and I'm assuming the fact that they haven't filled up with youth players is down to just COVID bubbles and stuff. So we'll see there. But just go run through the Rangers team really quickly. It's John McLaughlin's in goal, McGregor's on the bench, which is interesting. Tavernier, Goldson, Simpson. It looks like Joe Aribo is going to play left back with no Barisic. Then Kamara, Davis, Hadji, Roof, Kent, and Morelos. So Adam Kennedy, obviously Rangers have still got this unbeaten league season to play for. That's kind of their only motivation. I think they're probably still. Off the back of the St Johnstone Cup defeat, Gerrard will still be wanting a big performance for his team tonight.
Yeah, I think so. And obviously, I don't. Looking at the weekend, I think they'll want to keep that momentum going. What with Trophy Day and whatever. But I mean, the Cups have obviously been the disappointment, but if they were to go the season undefeated, I don't think the fans will be discontent with that. Of course, they're going to be, disappointed with the Cup exits, but it's very impressive considering that this season was meant to be all about the rivals across the city.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, Livingston are a team who, Ryan, listen, I know Martindale is taking loads of plaudits, but over the last couple of months, they've not really been at it. Obviously, the game at Tony Macaroni tonight, these are the kind of games that since Livy have come back up, they've done well. And you think, Rangers and Celtic have both struggled at a Tony Macaroni. Aberdeen on Trophy Day for Rangers, would you say that, if anyone's going to beat Rangers, is it going to be Livy, maybe at home, or because I think Aberdeen are going to struggle on Saturday? It's kind of all on Livy, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I would say it's all on Livy's pitch as well. That's always a factor as well. Playing that plastic pitch is a complete nightmare. Always dread when Celtic play on there away from home. You always worry about injuries or whether or not Julian's going to get in a physical battle with somebody. But no, I think out of the two teams, out of Aberdeen and Livy, I would say Livy have the better chance at sort of halting them. I think Rangers have just got Aberdeen's number when it comes to showdowns against them. I think that's just a mentality thing, and it's something that Stephen Glass will need to focus on next season. But it'll be interesting. I mean, Livingston still want to finish fifth as well. So, and I don't even think there's a point between them. They're both level.
No, 44, I think, yeah.
So they still get something to play for. But, I would say out of the two teams, I think St Johnstone have more of a chance at picking up points tonight than Livingston. That's just the way it is now. Yeah,
definitely. Everything that we've seen this season would suggest that. Just going to run through the Livy team really quickly. Striek in goal, Devlin, Fitzwater, Guthrie, Longridge, Holt, Diani, Pittman, Sibbald, Mullen, and J. Emmanuel Thomas. Adam, there's players in there that can hurt Rangers. The Jet has been, not Jim Jeffries, but J. Emmanuel Thomas has been flying recently.
The lesser Jet, if you will. He has. I really like the big fella, to be fair. I think, is his contract up come the summer? Is that right?
You are asking me questions that I don't know the answer to, which is never a good idea.
Because I don't know. I feel as though Livy will probably do everything in their power to try and keep him if that's the case. And yeah, he's in fine form, and provided he's not shunted out on the flanks, as I think we've also seen in recent weeks. If he's given that main sort of striker role, then it could definitely hurt Rangers for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Just interesting, obviously, one thing, McGinley, I think worth mentioning about the Rangers team is a lot of talk about Scott Wright recently. He's come in and he's done really well whenever he's played. Hasn't got the start tonight, but one thing we've talked about in the podcast and something I've said to Div is you look at the Rangers team, the one area, that team that I still think they are not quite got sort of the final piece of the puzzle is that kind of right-hand side in an attacking sense. Obviously, chop and change. Haji's in tonight. He hasn't really nailed down his chance to be that man. Again, it's another start for him. He's got to kind of make the most of it.
Yeah, I think Haji will probably be one of the biggest disappointments for Rangers this season. I thought he would come in the team and be an automatic starter. Obviously, last season with his Europa League heroics, but be interesting to see what happens down that right-hand side, whether they go and recruit somebody else or they promote someone from the youth system. I don't know, does Aribo play on the right-hand side to right midfield?
He can't. He does do in some of the bigger games, but I mean...
Yeah, I've always quite liked him in that position. I think he's not terrifically quick, but he's skillful. And
I think he's got to be the most skillful player with the ball at his feet in the league. I mean, in terms of close control, he's unbelievable, some of the stuff he's got.
I mean, that was the one game I've actually seen live this season. I went to Rangers v Kelly, or Kelly v Rangers, all the way about, out Rugby Park, and Aribo was the best player on the pitch. I was like, I can see why both Celtic and Rangers were linked with him. And he is a really good player. He's easy on the eye to watch, and he's always got a bit of skill and pace on him. Yeah. Or not pace, but skill.
You know what I mean? He's making an interesting point here. Fashion Sakala can play down the right. Obviously, he's just been announced a pre-contract, so maybe that would be an option. Cam McFarlane saying Haji has gone a little bit under the radar this season, got a few goals and assists, maybe not a standout, but still been good. Yeah, again, big night for him. Just looking at how many games at the cover, might as well. We've got to move this on a bit quickly. Score predictions tonight. I can't see none of the Rangers win. Adam, can you?
No, I think it'll be comfy. And despite bigging up J. Emmanuel Thomas, Livy just seemed to struggle to score goals unless it is solely him. So I'm going to say Livy 0, Rangers 2.
McGinley?
I'm going to go for 1-0 Rangers. I think Rangers will shade it, but they'll win. That's what they're good at. They're good at winning this season, so I think they'll win. I'm
probably going to say 2-0 Rangers. It seems to be the go-to scoreline for this evening. Other game tonight, Motherwell against Dundee United. Teams are in for that. I'm not going to run through teams for every game. But just obviously, I'm going against everything I say here by giving the bigger teams more attention. But I'm a shadow of man. But anyway, Motherwell against Dundee United tonight. Two teams that have not got a great deal to play for, Adam. But Dundee United are going to be looking to bounce back from that disappointment against your foes at the weekend.
Yeah, it's as big a dead rubber, I think, as you could possibly imagine, to be honest. It's really only prize money at this stage, isn't it? Which, I mean, I can see why, these teams want to finish best of the rest within that top six. But I just think looking for both, Dundee United occupied the top six for a good spell in the season. So they're probably disappointed they're down there. And Motherwell's season, was an absolute shocker in comparison to what we've seen in recent years. So as big a dead rubber as you can get for me, mate.
Gogsies want me to run through the team, so I'll just do it for him. Dundee United have instantly made a couple of changes. Ross Doohan is in goal. Liam Smith, Adrian Sporla. Then they've got Connolly, Paul at Chalmers, Shankland, Appary, Mikason, Smith, and Fuchs. So they made a few changes. Just look at the bench. McNulty and Clark on the bench. Robson, Butcher, Hark. So they've definitely run the changes. For Motherwell, it's Kelly, O'Donnell, Maguire, Lamey, McGinley, not Ryan McGinley, just so we're sure. Foley, Campbell, Lawless, Hasty, Long, and Cole. Devante Cole's an interesting one, Ryan, because I heard Graham Alexander speaking today about wanting to extend his contract. He is someone who's he's done well since Graham Alexander came in.
Yep, he's been one of their better players since Alexander came in. You always watch him sports scene. He always seems to catch my eye. He always got a bit of a pace about him. He gets a goal or two, so he's definitely been a good acquisition for Motherwell, and I think he'd be mad not to go with Motherwell next season. Yeah,
it's an interesting one, Graham Alexander. I think he's done a decent job. He's obviously going to be, next season's the big one for him. He's going to get his own players in the summer and try and go again. Tonight, though, Adam at Tannadice, what are we thinking? I think Motherwell might edge this.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. It all depends which Dundee United turns up, because we've even seen it in the Cup. There they go and blow Aberdeen away 3-0 at Pittodrie, and in the previous round I think they scraped past Forth for 1-0. So United are such a mixed bag. I really don't know what to expect. So I probably am backing with Motherwell, to be honest, because they seem to be carrying momentum. I mean, I think since Graham Alexander's come in, statistically they're the third best team in the league. So
that's mad.
It would be absolutely no surprise to see the Well win this one for me.
That's gone under the radar a little bit as well. I know he's had a couple of decent results, but McGinley, what are you thinking? Something similar?
I'm going to go for a draw. I think both teams have got goals in them, but I think it'll be a scored draw. United have good options, both starting and on the bench, so they've definitely got some firepower in their team. Both teams score, so I think it'll be a scored draw.
Nice. I'm going to go with 2-0 Motherwell. There you go, just to make Gogsy happy because he's in the chat. Let's move on to the game that Ryan's desperate to talk about. It is high-flying Carlton Davidson St Johnstone travelling to Celtic at Parkhead for Scott Brown's last home game, Ryan, an emotional occasion.
Yeah, it would have been on an emotional occasion. It still probably will be, but the fact that there's no fans there makes it very saturated, I feel. Some of the... Obviously, you've got the displays that are around the stadium, but some of them are a wee bit embarrassing. That great Scott on top of Celtic Park is really, really cringy. I'm glad that no fans need to see that or need to go past it tonight. But it's the end of an era for Celtic. It's kind of all I've known as a Celtic fan, having Scott Brown as the captain. So I hope it goes well for him. I think if we get a penalty, he'll be getting it for sure.
Where do you think that's going?
Where
do you think the penalty would end up?
Rosette, maybe. But no, it'll be interesting to see how Celtic plays. It all depends on what Celtic turn up, really. Because I mean that's been a Jekyll and Hyde thing this season. If St Johnstone go for it, I think they'll get a result. To be honest, that's just the way Celtic have been this season. They're quite soft, so we'll see how that goes. But
I have to say, Adam, Ryan, I'm getting absolutely fed up watching Celtic now. Just even hearing about them, they're just like, because just know the team tonight, right? They won't be making a team selection that will help in terms of prioritising for next season. It'll be the same old team that always goes out. They'll be really passive. They'll probably maybe win 1-0, and it'll just be horrible. But Scott Brown's an interesting one. I think what's happened today is kind of clouded what tonight was going to be. From what I can gather, fans were going to head down at the stadium to kind of welcome the team tonight and give him a wee applause. I don't think that will be a pleasant affair now if it does go ahead. So I think, Adam, listen, Scott Brown's been a very divisive figure in Scottish football, but there's nobody who generally watches the game that doubts what he's done for Celtic over the last 10 years. Well, 13 years, isn't it, really? So it's going to be a weird one tonight. The last time he plays for Celtic at Parkhead, Adam. Strange one.
Yeah, it's going to be weird at Tiny when I'm back shouting abuse at him not in a Celtic shirt. So, yeah.
It would just be Robbie Nielsen you're shouting abuse at.
Oh, listen, and half that squad, but we can leave that for another time. No, it is bizarre to think, because Ryan's right. I think all of us are sort of that similar generation where all we have known is Scott Brown in the middle of the park. And it's quite funny tonight. Obviously, I think Callum McGregor's suspended, isn't he? So it'll probably be...
Adam, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you there really quickly because the team news has just come out. And there's some interesting... Actually, everything I just said is completely wrong because Celtic have made a couple of interesting selections. First of all, Vasilis Barkas starts in goal. He's back, Ryan. That's an interesting one. Brown plays, obviously, the Celtic do their team lines in such a horrible way. That really annoys me. So it's Barkas, Brown, Turnbull, Kenny, Christie, Edward Elyounoussi, Ayer, Forrest, Welsh, and Adam Montgomery, who makes his debut, which is an interesting one. So, Ryan, that's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I'm presuming that Adam Montgomery will be playing left back. I know he was a striker earlier on in his youth career, but he's been kind of redeployed to left back. He's been Calvin Millard again because he was a striker and then he got moved to left back. Obviously, that didn't work out for him, but I'm happy to see Barkas back in the squad. I thought he shouldn't have been dropped in the first place. You're supposed to be giving this guy a bit of confidence, and then Lennon threw him under the bus in January, and we've not seen him since.
The whole management of the goalies was bizarre. They just chop and change every 2 weeks. It was ridiculous.
It all started when we let Gordon go, or Gordon left without having an adequate replacement. We were kind of in a sort of turmoil from the get-go, which is never good because you're supposed to build on a solid foundation in the goalkeeper position. It's not been a great season for goalkeepers all in. It's been we got a bit of a terrible bunch, but I'm glad to see Barkas back in there.
I just remember the reaction to when David Marshall was linked and everyone turned their nose up at it now. I bet you now they wish maybe they'd done something a bit different.
It was a bit of an unfashionable choice, really. We like to go for the sort
of listen, I don't think that is a sign they should have made, but it certainly wouldn't have been in the turmoil they have been with goalkeepers had they done that. But it's an interesting one, Adam. St Johnstone haven't beaten Celtic this season, which seems strange because most people have. And obviously the season they've had, this would kind of be another wee tick of the box for the Saints fans if they go and win at Parkhead tonight.
Yeah, and added to that, remarkably, their best result was the 1-1 draw at Parkhead, having lost both meetings at McDermott Park. So I get the feeling that we might see something similar tonight. I can totally see it a 1-1 draw, just given the disarray with Celtic off the park. Scott Brown's last game, will that occasion, and I use that term loosely, sort of get the better of them? I don't know. And St Johnstone will obviously want to keep on building ahead of their Scottish Cup final as well. So when you add in all these sort of factors, I can see a 1-1 draw tonight, and I've got no idea why. But you mentioned 1-0 earlier on. Also wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Yeah,
I mean, my head is saying that Celtic will win it just, but I'm still very much in the Callum Davidson hype train. So I'm going to go with 2-1 at the Saints. McGinley, what do you think will happen?
I can't go against my team, guys, unfortunately. I'm going to go for
they seem to be going against you.
I'm going to go 1-0 Celtic. Brown penalty.
Oh, I saw you on Twitter. I think it was like a prediction thing. You'd put Brown first goal scorer. Yeah. I mean, it would be the poetic end to the season that he was dreaming of, I'm sure.
Watch this.
Oh, I know, dear me. Right, we'll move it on because we've still got a few games to cover, and we've kind of got the three biggest games left tonight. Obviously, the battle for third spot is still kind of up for grabs a little bit. It's kind of crept up on me how, if Aberdeen do win tonight, they do have a half chance should results go their way at the weekend. But it is Aberdeen against Hibernian at Pittodrie. Adam Kennedy, it's an interesting one. Aberdeen have improved under Stephen Glass. I mean, there's certainly been signs of what he's trying to do. Results maybe haven't been great, but I think Aberdeen fans are happy with early signs. Hibs obviously booked their place in the Cup final. Potential for Jack Ross to have a Cup semi-final, a Scottish Cup win in third spot, which would be an unbelievable season. Obviously, you don't want that to happen, but How do you see this one going tonight?
I fancy Hibs, to be honest, just given their recent form and ultimately the morale that will have been boosted by reaching said cup final. I think Aberdeen, they're in transition, and you're right in that Stephen Glass has been, he's done well with the squad as it is at the minute. But I think a lot of that squad are aging. A lot will be out of contract in the summer. So I don't think we can really sort of judge till he's had that overhaul. And I think for Hibs, they'll want to get third wrapped up as soon as they can obviously do so tonight. And I fancy them to sneak it maybe 2-1.
Yeah, again, head saying Hibs. I would like Aberdeen to win it just to have something else to play for on the final day. It would make things interesting. Ryan, the big problem with Aberdeen is they don't score goals. They don't have a goal scorer, and Hibs do score goals, and they've got multiple goal scorers. So all the signs would probably point towards a Hibs win tonight.
Yeah, it'll be nothing each. Watch this. It's probably the most aesthetically pleasing game on the fixture list tonight, I would say.
Yeah,
in
on
terms of
paper anyway.
Yeah, on paper. We'll see how that goes. That's definitely somewhere that Aberdeen need to improve on next season, is up front. The lack of goals in the team since what's his name? Since Cosgrove left has been alarming, to say the least, for them. I wonder if they'll go in the market for Lee Griffiths, because there's not been a lot of talk about it. Yeah, wee tea cake. Hail, hail.
It's virtually all been Callum Hendry, hasn't it? And even then, I mean, he'll be fighting for his St Johnstone place. You know,
and I have to say, I've been really amazed that Canberra hasn't kicked on at Aberdeen. I really thought that was a good signing when they got him. Yeah. I thought it was really good when he came into Rangers last winter. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he was the sort of the only bright spot after Christmas for Rangers, apart from the Europa League stuff. He was getting a couple of goals and looking promising, but I think COVID hit at the wrong time for him, and he kind of just got lost and all that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, just to paint the picture, if Aberdeen win tonight, they are still behind Hibs on goal difference by it's 11. Is it 11 going into it? Let me just check. No, it's more than that. It's 9 is the goal difference. So Aberdeen would need to win tonight and then take something at Ibrox and hope that Celtic do the business against Hibs, which again is a big ask. Also quite fit. The Scott Brown's final game for Celtic will be Easter Road. That will be interesting. Anyway, score predictions for that one. I'm going to go 2-1 Hibs. What did you give one already, Adam? I can't remember.
Yeah, I said 2-1 Hibs as well, mate.
And Ryan, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go 2-0 Hibs.
That's fine. Interesting. Right, let's move on to the big things that are happening tonight, the big games tonight, and let's start off in Dingwall, because that is the big game of the night. Obviously, Ross County against Hamilton, the definition of a 6-pointer. Adam, what are you thinking?
I don't know what to think. It's sort of the same old story with Aki's, isn't it? Where everybody's been writing them off, and then here we are. I mean, I have been convinced since about October that this will finally be the season that Hamilton Academical will be relegated, and yet here we are, 2 games to go, and they're in with a shout of pulling off yet another great escape. It's actually baffling how they do it. And even then, this season's been remarkable because David Templeton's missed a good chunk of it. I think Big Ogbo, who is a good player for them, seems to have been out as well, along with sort of various injuries and whatever throughout the season. So I really don't know what to expect. I know that they could mathematically go down tonight, but Aki's might just do what Aki's do. I really don't know.
I'm enjoying that. Another Jonathan Sutherland shirt for you there, Adam. Fantastic. They're flying in. It's mental.
Add that to the collection.
throughout the last 2 months, you've gone, right, they're doomed. Actually, no, they're okay. No, they're doomed. But now we've got 2 rounds of fixtures left, and any of the 3 could go down, and still any of the 3 could go down via the playoffs. It's pretty mad. I still think I just can't bring myself to say Hamilton will get relegated. I just can't do it.
No, it does. I think they sort of thrive on this. Honestly, they thrive on this pressure because they seem to expect themselves to be in this position every season. I mean, they're probably what would you say? They spend the least on wages in the league, you would probably say.
The perennial overachievers, the fact they've been on for so long.
But, I was saying in October, November, this will be the season that new Douglas Park will be getting relegated. We don't have to play in a plastic pitch anymore. But it seems as if every season they do this, they give themselves a wee bit of glimmer of hope, and they're in there. I mean, they've definitely got a chance. It'll be definitely interesting to watch how those games turn out tonight.
Another interesting thing about tonight's game, Adam, is both managers are in the stand, which will be interesting. But again, at Ross County in an empty stadium, I'm not sure that makes a great deal of difference, especially with how loud Big Chipper and Yogi can shout.
Just to give everyone, they're both nuts. So
just to give everyone a wee look at the state of play tonight, Ross County are in 10th on 33 points. Mm-hmm. Aki's are bottom on 30, and Kelly are in the middle on 32. So Aki's could go down tonight should Ross County win, and Kilmarnock win as well. That would mean that Aki's are down, which is mental to even think about. But again, flip that, Aki's win and Kelly say they get beat or draw, and you're in a situation where they're all pretty much neck and neck going into the final day, which is just unbelievable. What do we think, though, Adam? I'm going to go with Hamilton today. I think Hamilton going to win this 2-1.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I can't call it. There's a part of me that says 1 each. There's part of me that says that Accies will be relegated tonight. I'll say it because it's what I'd like. Sorry, Accies fans, but I'm going to say 2-1 Ross County.
Wow. I mean, I would certainly like it to go to the final day. Ryan, what do you think will happen tonight?
I honestly can't tell you. I'm just having a look at the table just now. It's so tight. If Hamilton win tonight, it really does set the cat amongst the pigeons, you would say. You can't say against Hamilton because they've been in this position before. I'll go for Hamilton as well. 1-0.
Nice, interesting. Right, so that's going to be big if that happens tonight. Let's move on to the other game in the relegation battle. We've got Killie hosting St Mirren. Adam, I don't know what we're going to get from St Mirren tonight. I mean, they don't really have anything to play for now. But again, they've been really good all season long, so you wouldn't put it past them. But again, Killie know tonight that, tonight Killie could be safe from automatic relegation tonight if they win. What do you think will happen?
I fancy Killie just because I feel as though St Mirren might be suffering from, a kind of Hampden heartbreak hoodoo, if you like. Just because, it's just a case of what if for St Mirren with the whole top six, missing out in both cup semi-finals. It's still been a fantastic season and one that I certainly did not foresee. But despite the fact that I'm a big fan of Jim Goodwin and the job that he's doing, but Killie they simply have to win tonight. And that incentive alone, with the little bit of quality that they've now got in the final third, courtesy of Kyle Lafferty, I think will just carry them to a slender victory.
They'll be hoping, Ryan, that Lafferty's fully fit. I know he always had that knock a couple of weeks back, played against Motherwell when I don't think he was 100%. He is going to be key if they win tonight.
Yeah, he lives for the split, doesn't he? He done it for Rangers and he's doing it for Kilmarnock definitely at this point. It all depends if he's fit, but even a half fit, Kyle Lafferty will put away chances in this game. Mm-hmm. I can't see past Killie either, to be honest, because they're at home, they know the pitch, and St Mirren will be feeling quite hard done by. The fact that they didn't get through to the final of the Scottish Cup, to put that alongside their lack of a top six finish, I think I can only see Kilmarnock winning this. Yeah,
Cammy's saying that Lafferty is fully fit, which Tommy Wright confirmed in his pre-match, which is interesting. Right, let's move on to the game that I didn't want to talk about tonight. It's the Scottish Premiership playoff game, the first leg at Starks Park between Raith Rovers and Dundee. And Adam, you can just take it from here.
I'm not taking it from here. Come on, this is your segment. Why? Is it just disappointment? Is that all it is?
Doesn't bother me. I don't want to talk about it. It's just a game. It's just a game. I'm not fussed about it tonight.
Listen, mate, rebuild in the summer, potential new gaffer. Now you've signed up your man White.
There's no new gaffer. The gaffer is staying. Let me tell you that. So
Craig White will fire you to that second.
Right, well, let's talk about Raith Rovers and Dundee. No one wants to listen to me talk about Dunfermline, right? No one wants to listen to that. Cue all the comments, tell me to rant about Dunfermline. Right, Raith Rovers Dundee. Adam, we've talked a lot of the Championship show about how good Raith Rovers have been. Obviously, it's a bit of a fairy tale season for them. We forget they're newly promoted. Again, I think it's more of a free hit. We said this. You made that analogy on the Championship show about how for Dundee they need to get promoted, and that need is strong. And tonight the away leg probably suits Dundee, knowing tonight that they've got Dens on Saturday or Sunday, should I say? How do you see tonight going?
I guess that's the whole beauty of the two-legged affairs, isn't it? That consolation with the home fixture. Raith Rovers play the best football in Scotland's second tier, without a shadow of a doubt. And Dundee have been suspect at the back for the vast duration of the season. I think we've both said that. I'm backing Rovers in this, to be honest. I just feel as though the lack of expectation and lack of, I don't know, it's not even like it's lack of expectation probably was the right phrase. It's a total free hit. And ultimately, they've been expressing themselves all season. So, obviously, with that added pressure of maybe the telecameras being there, that might, play a part in their minds. But I'm backing Rovers, mate.
And Ryan, it's do or die time for James McPake and Dundee. Me and Adam have both been amazed that James McPake has kept his job as long as he has done. But for Dundee, they need to get back into the Premiership.
Yeah, absolutely. The pressure's all on them tonight. For Raith Rovers, whatever happens tonight for Raith Rovers, they've had a great season. So I don't think they'll be judged at all. All the pressure's on Dundee. They've spent big. They've got big players in. They need to come up with the goods tonight.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see the difference between Dundee's wage bill and Raith Rovers. It would probably shock a lot of people. I'm going to go with Dundee tonight. I think Dundee will win at 1-0, and I think Dundee will win the tie. Adam, what do you think? You think Rovers will win tonight, don't you?
Is that just out of bitterness? Or
no, it's out of
just... you genuinely believe?
I genuinely believe that Dundee will win tonight. Listen, Dunfermline should have won the fucking first game. So, I mean, they just couldn't score any goals. You know, it's not my fault, all right? Me.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Ryan, your prediction. I don't want to hear from you, Adam. You pissed me off, man. You're going to go Wraith, Adam?
I'm going Wraith tonight, but I feel as though Dundee will probably advance, given they've got the Dens fixture to fall back on.
Okay, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going to go for one each and make it an interesting second leg, all to play for on the Sunday.
Nice. Right, that'll be an interesting one. We'll see on Sunday what happens in the tie completely on Sunday. Let's quickly touch on last night's games because there were some unbelievable games in the Championship playoffs last night. Airdrie played Cove Rangers. Airdrie were headed into the game with a 1-0. Am I right? 1-0 advantage, yeah, from the first leg up in Cove. Last night was just unbelievable. 92 minutes, Rory McAllister made it 2-1 for Cove Rangers, looking to send Cove into the playoff final. And then a 94th minute goal from Jack Mackay sent it to extra time. Callum Gallagher scored in extra time for Airdrie. They went through 3-2. And Adam, it's a bit of I think a lot of people wanted to see Cove go up because they've had such an unbelievable couple of years.
Yeah, again, they're just the Wraith Rovers kind of League One. I actually think that League One's probably been the best league in Scotland all season. When you consider, Falkirk's collapse, the title race has just been absolutely crazy. And ultimately, the playoffs, I don't think we're all that surprised to see the drama that obviously happened last night. So, Rory McAllister is obviously somebody that Cove could have depended on. Probably the best or the most well-known lower league marksman. But
he is definitely, in my opinion, been the best player in the SPFL decade. Since the SPFL was formed in 2013, he's been the main man. Every single season he scores 20-odd goals at least. It's just unbelievable what he's done. And Mitch Beggington as well is a fantastic player. They'll go again next season, Cove. There's no doubt about that, Ryan. I think they're similar to Queen's Park in that you can see the ambition these clubs have got to get up into the Championship.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see these teams come up. It'll be interesting next season with Cove Rangers against Queen's Park, two of the most modern sort of lower league clubs. It'll be interesting to see how they pit off against each other next season. I can't say that I was happy that Airdrie won because I'm a Coatbridge boy, obviously, so Albion Rovers and that.
You're a human being. No wonder you weren't happy that Airdrie won.
Exactly. To be fair, I play on the five-a-side pitches, so I can't really say too much.
I'm going to leave my Airdrie disdain for next season if they are in the Championship because there's a wee bit of history there between Airdrie and Dunfermline. An interesting one. I mean, Airdrie obviously will play Morton, Adam, who won last night just about. They got through. I said to Adam about 6 months ago, maybe not even that long ago, keep an eye on Great Morton. They are just hilarious. On and off the park, they are constantly a drama. And last night, the team lines came out and the reaction to team news on Twitter, something that I've not seen like that in a long time. The Morton fans were fuming with the team news. Chris Miller played at right back. He's a midfielder, hasn't played for about 6 months. They chucked him in at right back in the biggest game of their season. And by all accounts, he did quite well. Morton ended up winning 3-1 after a 2-1 defeat in the first leg. The game went to extra time, and then Craig McGuffey scored a worldie of a goal. I don't know if either of you have seen it. In the 120th minute to keep Morton alive just about, Adam, and they'll play Airdrie. They're hanging on by a thread, aren't they?
They are, and to be honest, I sort of saw this coming out. I was adamant that they'd be consigned to that playoff place, so it's no surprise to have seen them obviously occupy it. And now, I mean, struggling against Montrose, who got in, by the skin of their teeth as well. I'm sorry to say for the pair of you, but I can't see anything other than Airdrie being promoted, to be honest. Just Morton's lack of goals. I know that obviously now they've come against Montrose, but prior to that in the Championship, just very concerning offensively for me. And I'm probably backing Airdrie, like I say, to get promoted in advance ahead.
It was a bit mad that Morton scored 3 goals tonight. Aidan Quincy, was a cross or a shot? Well, it's a good question. McGuffey nutmegs the boy and then, left peg into the far top but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he has scored some wonderful goals this season. But But Adam makes a good point. I mean, Airdrie, look at Airdrie's squad. Kyle Turner, obviously from Dunfermline, was Player of the Month in the Championship in December, and then fell out with Crawford. He's at Airdrie, done really, really well. Their squad's littered with players who've played in the Championship. Ryan, what's your kind of instinct saying who will go up there, Airdrie or Morton? Or sorry, Morton would stay up, wouldn't it? Airdrie would go up.
I can only see Airdrie going up. They've got the winning mentality just now. I know Morton have struggled throughout the season. It's been a bit of a joke on their social media, and a couple of the prominent Morton tweeters have been sort of not singing the praises, you could say. I can only see Airdrie going up, as sad as that is to say.
I'm going to reluctantly agree with you. Anyway, we'll move on to the League One playoffs, the battle to go to League One. Stranraer looking to bounce back after the relegation last year. Hasn't happened. Dumbarton beat them last night, which is an interesting one because Dumbarton have had a bit of a tough season, but they seem to have recovered at the right part of it. And Edinburgh City going through on a 3-2 aggregate win over Elgin. Just quickly, boys, what do you think? Dumbarton or Edinburgh? My instinct would say Edinburgh because I think they were good last season and unlucky not to go up, and maybe they'll get up to the playoffs this time around.
And I think Gary Naismith's a top appointment as well. I think if not this season, they're probably favourites to win it next season. So, I'm back in City, and I've got a couple of pals that play for them. So, nice, why not? Nice.
Contacts in big places. We'll be doing a documentary on Edinburgh City.
Absolutely.
Ryan, are you going to go with that as well, Edinburgh City?
Yeah, I can only see Edinburgh City winning. They've got a good squad, so I can only see that.
Are they your second team, Adam? I think there's a lot of Hearts fans that watch Edinburgh, don't they?
There's a couple, but I'm not a two-team wanker, mate. so only the Gorgie boys for me.
Oh, very good. Very
reluctantly.
Good. Very reluctantly, as we can tell. Just before we wind up tonight's show, because it's been a long one, I want to quickly get your thoughts because it's something I discussed. Me and Dev had a big discussion about this in the podcast, and an even bigger discussion after the podcast, which we should have recorded. Colt teams, Adam Kennedy, Celtic and Rangers in the Lone League. What are you thinking?
Shambles, a total shambles. I mean, why, if they're going to make it a permanent fixture, one season, what's the point? Why would but for a little bit extra dough? I mean, really,
team, it's not even that much.
Exactly. That's what a couple COVID tests, if we're being honest. So why not make it a permanent thing, or just not at all? It seems as though it's sort of like Hearts' trophy lift. Either do it emphatically or don't bother.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Ryan McGinley, what are your thoughts, obviously, as a Celtic fan? I mean, listen, the one thing that I will agree with people on is that there needs to be a better youth pathway for young players in Scotland playing decent football, competitive football, men's football. But, I mean, this proposal is set forward is surely not it.
I mean, on a selfish point of view, I'm quite happy that these players will be playing against adults week after week. I think the reason they're only doing it for the one season is to show at the end of the season, look what we've brought you. Look at how good this is. Make this a permanent fixture. Yeah. I mean, the money talks at the end of the day, doesn't it? And a lot of these teams are struggling, you would say. So. Yeah,
it's a tough one. I mean, we all talked about how fans are important and they're the lifeblood of football, but you'll struggle to find many Lowland League club fans who are supportive of this. It seems a little bit like money has won in this situation. Yep. But again, it's not going to be the last we hear about this. It'll happen for the season. I think you're right. I think they'll revisit at the end of next season and say, look at how it's gone, pros, cons, and maybe go from there. But I mean,
could they not set up partnerships? Given, I mean, Queen's Park
Hibs have done that with Steny. Hibs have done that with
exactly, Steny, and obviously Queen's Park have taken a couple Celtic boys on loan. Yeah, surely that's a better way forward. So I don't know.
But there's the boys that haven't. So there's all the ones that are on loan at clubs. I mean, look at the Championship. Dapo Maboudi's at Queen of the South. Lewis Mayo's at Dunfermline. Fraser Murray's at Dunfermline. Ewan Henderson. Obviously, they are better off playing in the Championship. But there's the ones that aren't quite at that level to play there yet that need to play men's football.
Yeah,
they're the ones that fall through the gap, Ryan, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's another fact is that all of these players will be playing with each other to sort of make a sort of team bond rather than sending them out to individual clubs. I can see both sides, to be honest, because a lot of these players, a lot of these teams need these sort of additional players on loan. It's kind of like us to an extent when we get Premier League loans as well to sort of fill out the squad.
Yeah.
I can see both sides, to be honest.
It's an interesting one. Just listen, that's a conversation that can run, forever and ever. We'll come back to it, I'm sure, at some point. Just finally, quickly, want to get you off you guys because we've had over the past couple of days, we've had the PFA Player and Young Player of the Year nominees. Obviously, the Rangers players had a quick, clean sweep with the Player of the Year nominees. It was Davis, Kent, McGregor, and Tavernier. Adam Kennedy, out of those four, who do you think will get that award?
James Tavernier, probably.
Probably. Yes.
despite the obviously injury that he suffered, and Nathan Patterson then coming in and flying. It's just been a total mainstay for the most part, hasn't he? And obviously the defensive record speaks for itself. Club captain, I think it's a nap, to be honest.
I'm not going to make you talk about this for lots of time, Ryan, because it's obviously not a subject you really want to go in depth on. But I think the mental thing about this is that Connor Goldson wasn't one of the four. But I mean, out of those four, absolutely. Who do you think will get it? It probably will be Tavernier, you'd have thought, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Adam. It's got to be Tavernier. The numbers speak for themselves. Good defensive record and the amount of goals and assists that he's contributed to this season. I mean, surely it's unanimous. I think the only reason it isn't unanimous is the injury that he got, which is sort of put the focus on maybe McGregor and other players. But I can't see any.
I'm amazed. I thought it was going to be. Goldson, so I couldn't believe he wasn't nominated. I just think Tavernier's injury would have leaned it towards him. But listen, all four of those have had fantastic seasons. It's a little bit more interesting when you look at the young player. This is a debate that has caused a wee bit of an uproar on Twitter. Nathan Patterson, Ali McCann, Josh Doig, and David Turnbull are nominated. Now, for me, I can't see past Josh Doig for this one. But what do you think, Adam?
No, totally agree, mate. I've been very impressed with Josh Doig, and he's another that's fallen through the Hearts youth system that, again, I'm looking at thinking, what could have been. But that's for another podcast, another debate. As for Josh Doig, obviously to have taken the left back berth and made it his own, that has been Lewis Stevenson's for as long as I can recall, is very impressive, and is quite rightly being linked with your Celtics, your English clubs, sort of Premier League. I don't want to say lower end Premier League. Leicester, I think Leeds was another, wasn't it? So I'm absolutely not surprised to see these links come, and I think Hibs will do very well to hold on to him in the summer as well.
It's an interesting one. I'm delighted to see Ali McCann nominated. I think he's had a great season, Ryan. Obviously, Turnbull and Patterson are the high-profile ones in there. Now, I think Div's saying to chat there, saying he's amazed Lewis Ferguson isn't in the short list. Lewis Ferguson was flying up until about January when Aberdeen kicked off. He kind of did as well. But yeah, I mean, Doig has certainly played the most. He's been consistent. I think the point Adam makes about Lewis Stevenson, replacing him, who's been such a mainstay in the Hibs team, has been such an impressive thing. Would you go with Doig, or would you be tempted to go with Turnbull?
No, it's got to be Doig. I mean, as impressive as Turnbull has been, he only got in the team November, December time. Doig's been there the whole season. He should get the award. I think for him, I think it's obvious it should be Josh Doig. He's been a standout as well. He's been a standout in that Hibs team. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm quite happy that that Celtic are sort of linked with him as well, because he's impressed me every time I've watched him on the telly. Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, and Nathan Patterson as well, who's listed. Listen, there's no doubt in that boy's quality, and he's been absolutely fantastic when he has played. But I think in terms of the league, he's not even played enough minutes for like 6 full games or something like that. So it's kind of hard for me to pick him. But I think he has been brilliant, and there's no doubt he'll probably win one of these awards in the future. Same with David Turnbull. That's going to round us up. I think obviously we're going to let people get away if we're watching games tonight. But it's going to be interesting. We'll be back tomorrow with a podcast. Me, Dev, and Ryan, I think. Maybe Ryan's somewhere there. I don't know. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Any final thoughts, Adam?
Not particularly. Just, Ryan, you're nearly there, mate. It's such a feeling once it's all over. So, come on. 2 games to go.
This is mad because my season was rudely ended. I didn't want mine to end, and it was ended, and my soul was crushed. But yes, Ryan, not long to go. And it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to the postseason content, Euros content. That's all going to be coming up. So lots to be excited for. And just quickly before I round up today's show, I'm going to give a quick headphone warning because apparently the intro's really loud. So thank you all for watching. Enjoy the game tonight, and we will see you all tomorrow. Cheers.